So today I'm deep in the woods at the easternmost trailhead in the state of Texas, the Sabine National Forest, Lakeview Recreation Area. And we're gonna hike a section of the trail between the lakes that connects the Toledo Bend Reservoir to the Sam Rayburn. Starting here at this peninsula, right on the Louisiana border, we're gonna hike this to the west. I've heard mixed reviews about this trail. I've heard very good things. And also I've heard that some of this area has been heavily logged. We'll at least get a good look at this eastern part. So today I've driven the entire width of the Pineywoods region of East Texas. And the further I drove, the more remote it felt. Incredible. This is the road that leads you back into this recreation area. Beautiful, quiet road. Didn't see very many cars. So just ahead there is the Toledo Bend Reservoir. Very large lake. So even if you're not hiking, this looks like a great place to have a very quiet, secluded picnic. Maybe do some fishing. Perhaps even get in the water a little bit. This lake is huge. And so here's the trailhead and perhaps a more detailed map. We're starting here at this eastern terminus and hiking here until we just get tired. This also looks like another good access point near midway. And then you can see these wildlife management areas here. Probably want to avoid those in the fall during hunting season. So the one thing I noticed right away when coming into this area is it appears that there has been a controlled burn here recently, which can hurt the beauty and enjoyment of the trail. And so I think that's what we're gonna see for most of this hike today. So unfortunately, I may not be here at the best time. So a couple of things attracted me to this area. One, this is one of the longest trails in all of Texas. Number two, I think it's also the easternmost trailhead in the entire state. And so one of the things I like to do in my videos is visit the extreme portions of Texas. Go to the southernmost, northernmost, westernmost, and now easternmost part of the state, you know, and then occasionally go back to the middle. And so in this part of Texas, you get close to 60 inches of rain per year. You combine that with the fact that you're next to this very large man-made reservoir, and it is very humid here. So we're about a mile down the trail right now, walking over the gently rolling landscape. I have to say I am a little disappointed so far. Forest here looks like it was probably logged in the not too distant past. So the trees here are not large and impressive like other areas I've seen in East Texas. First road crossing here, little gravel road. Just hang a right and then go back to the left just ahead. You can see the yellow arrow. So right after crossing that first road is your first tricky spot. You see this tree here with arrows on it. You're going to want to make a sharp left here. Not very obvious. Once you do, you'll see those trail markers just ahead. Here's another example of the poor condition of the trail right now. You can see that arrow pointed straight ahead, but the trail is not very obvious. At least they have those trail markers on the trees every so often so that you can find your way. So this is the first impressive tree specimen that I've noticed. This is a giant holly tree. Really nice. So the landscape here is carved up by several ravines. And this would be beautiful were it not for the condition of the forest right now. You really want to keep your eyes peeled for snakes walking through this stuff. So we're now descending into a ravine carved into the Sabine River Valley. This is one of the prettier parts of the forest so far, relatively untouched by the burn. And some of these ravines are quite narrow and deep. And from up on a hillside here, you can see deep down into that ravine there. So this landscape certainly has potential. But unfortunately, as soon as you climb out of it, back to the burned up forest. So we just had an isolated little shower pass over. So common in East Texas in the summertime. So we're now about 2.2 miles in, crossing the second road. One thing to keep in mind, since this trail can be hard to follow at times, and because you have to go around so many fallen trees, I would add about 50% to your normal hiking time. So 3.5 to 4 miles in, on a bluff above this little creek, is a great place to stop and take a break. So it's not so obvious, but you're actually supposed to cross this creek. You can see the trail marker here on this fallen tree. Now the trail goes in the opposite direction I'm walking right now, but I just wanted to get a little closer look at this creek. This is a really nice little spot here. You can see a little rock exposure here. The good thing about this trail, though it's not very well worn, is there are numerous ribbons and things on the trees you just watch out for. So roughly 4 miles in, we do hit a nice patch of forest here compared to what we've seen so far. Relatively untouched by the fire. So this is one of few very impressive tree specimens that I've seen. A giant beech tree. Very nice. And of course there are some large pine trees as well. So roughly 4.5 miles in, there's a remnant of an old road to the left. Let's see if we see any wetlands or any evidence of lake water over here. So yeah, there is certainly some standing water right here. I think this is kind of the most upstream part of the lake in this area. So as we descend down this hill here, we are at the upstream portion of the lake again. Another little inlet here. So I have ventured a short distance off the trail here. This is lake water kind of extending up into this little drainage. So there you can see some bald cypress trees. Mile marker number 5. So again, this part of the forest is much nicer. If you can get past that first roughly 4 miles, you will be rewarded. There may be opportunities for you to go, say, a few miles up the trail from where I started, along one of those little side roads, and give yourself a shortcut to get to the better part of the trail quicker.